Hi, welcome back. So in this outline, we're going to look at an informal introduction to Python from two different perspectives. First, we'll be looking at Python main pillars. Actually, we have spoken about that earlier when we discussed programming language from a technical perspective, also from a logical perspective. We relied on how a human actually perceives the understanding of things through three important elements such as numbers, symbols, and alphabetic. Now, more technically speaking, from Python perspective, those pillars could be in the form of numbers, strings, and lists. These are the important pillars. So we're going to have a quick introduction to them, and then we will be writing the first chunk of code using Python on its own. So basically, let's just start with the first pillar, and that is numbers. Actually, the interpreter of Python acts just as a simple calculator with some operators, arithmetic operators such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, or just like most of other languages. Let me show you exactly what I mean. If I would have to say 2 plus 2, just a very simple calculator. If you basically run this, you will get the result as a 4. So, or any other multiplication, for example, or division or whatsoever, you will get just exactly the same what you expect from a standard normally calculator. Also, you have to notice that Python consider numbers such as a flat 2 or 4 or 20 as an integer type, and the one with a fractional part such as 5.0, 1.6, they are considered as a float. So we will see more about actually numeric types later in this tutorial. Now, also you have to understand that the division operation always return float, and if you would like to have a floor division, you can use a backward slash operator to calculate. Also, the reminder, you might use the percent. Let me show you exactly what I mean. 17 divided by 3. Now, the result will be a fractional number, so the return from this division operation with this. Now, if you would like to have just only this flat number of 5, all what you have to do is just to make the backward slash or the division simple twice, and then you will get the flat value of that. And if you would like to get the remainder of this division operation, you get the percent from that, then you will get just only 2 as the reminder. Now, one more important things with Python, it is possible actually to calculate, for example, the power of a number just by using double multiplication simple. So for example, if I would have to know that 2 to the power of 3, instead of using the normal simple of this in some other language such as Java or C, we use actually double multiplication in Python, and just it will return to you the power of 2, as you can see. Now, the equal sign is used, of course, to assign a value to a variable, such like any other programming language. Say, for example, if I would like to assign this variable, we'll call it variable x, and assign to it any values at all. It could be a flat number like 3, and then, for example, you can just write x. Again, you would see, of course, the result. Maybe I could assign like 2 different values, x and y, for example, and then I just do the operation on those variables by summing, for example, x plus y. You will get the result as you expected. One important things you might find it very useful in interactive mode. The last printed expression is assigned to the variable, the underscore symbol. Let me show you what I mean. For example, like let's say I'm going to create a variable, I call it tax, for example, and just make a simple calculation of that tax that is a value of 12.5, for example, divided by 100, right? And then after that, I would like to assign a new variable, I call it the price, and again, for example, a value of 100.5, right? And then I do operation by calculating the price multiplied by the tax. Now you expect, of course, to get the result by getting the tax, the value of this multiplied by the price, and you get 12.5625. That's good. Now, if you would be surprised, let me just put here the result. Okay, the result is equal to this. I'll run it one more time. What is interesting, if I wouldn't do that, this final result, which is the 12.562, this is the latest outcome of any operation that I have done. It's already stored in a symbol of called the underscore, which is equal actually right now to 12.56. Let me show you exactly what I mean. If I want to say, for example, I want you to add the price, which is, we know the value of a price is in here 11, plus, instead of writing result once again, I can just write this, and the interpreter will understand that. So if you would like to do that, you will get the result, which is the value that we have seen just now, and add to it the price once again. That's why you get the result of 130. Also, you can do multiple things on the same. Now, the latest value is stored in the symbol, the underscore. Now it's this one, 130. For example, if you would like to use a built-in function, we call the round function, and this function basically, it takes a value. I will take the latest value, which is this one. It's stored with this underscore, and I want to round it by 2 numbers instead of, so I want it to be 113.06 only with 2 numbers. So if you run this, you get the result value. So I think this feature is a quite powerful and nice one. The second pillar, actually, it's about strings. And strings, I think, just beside numbers, Python can manipulate strings, which can be expressed in several ways. Now, they can be enclosed in a single quote or in a double quote with the same result. We can use also the backward slash to escape quotes. Let me exactly show you what I mean. Now, if you would like to come, for example, create a single quote just like that and write, for example, Python language. So you will get the result as expected. Now, if you would like, for example, to write I don't mind, this apostrophe you see here, it's just similar to the single code we wrote in the previous line of this command. Now, this is a problem. If I would like to make this single code and at the end make the second single code, there's a problem. You can see there is a escaping point. So to avoid this problem, what we can use just by using the backward slash, as you see here. Now, if I print this, I will get the desirable result, as you can see. Alternative, also, I could actually use the exact same thing without even the need of using this backward slash by just doing the following, double single quote. And if you write down, you will again get the exact same desirable result. We can explore also the power of a built-in function we call the print function. As you can see, every time I write here, for example, let me write one more sentence in a temporary variables is stored and the interpreter can see them, but it's going to print only the last one of this line, which is this one. But watch carefully. If I would have to use a built-in function, we call it a print. You can see now print, it always return or point out to the stored on value. Now, one more important thing I would like to notice about, it's the use of something we call it the triple quotes, either in a single form, for example, like this. These are triple quotes, or in also a double quotes, just like that. Now, these are a very powerful way of writing, for example, a description about something. So later on in this course, we will start write our own function. We need to write sort of a command description about this function. Either I put this description, as you can see, in the form of double quote or a single quote, it doesn't really matter. Also, one more important things you might want to know about string, that they can be concatenated or glued all together with, for example, additional operators, or repeated with a multiplication. Say, for example, if I would have to say 4 times UN, I add to it IUM, something like that. UN 4 times, and finally add to it IUM. So you can see that I use just operation to do that. Also, you may want to know that Python consider a string as a sort of a list on its own. So you can actually use that as an index. Say, for example, if I would to write this variable word and write to it Python in double quotes. So if you just write word and deal with it as an index of by opening these parentheses and write 4, for example, you will get the O, which is this one. Now, if you write a number that is longer than the index, you will absolutely run into an error, of course, because the string index out of the range what you want to. I use a built-in function called the length function of this word to return to me the length of it, which is 6. One more important thing, for example, if I would like to change this last letter, which is the word of 5, I make it, for example, equal to another letter, say, for example, T, Python, or something like that. Watch carefully what will happen. I will run into an error. What he said, a string object does not support item assignment, which is actually immutable. Immutable means we cannot change or reassign any new value to this. Strings in Python are considered to be immutable. We cannot change within their character, but we can retrieve them. Now, let's go ahead and explore the last pillar, which is lists. Basically, Python knows a number of compound data type used to group together other values, and that's the use of a list. For example, if I would have to create this variable, and it is a list that usually carry on the same type of values. For example, here are all integers, something like that. If you write -1, it will get the last value in that list. So for example, if you add one more value here, you will get number 20. And you can go backward this way. For example, you get -2, you will get to 16, or -3, you get to 5, and so on and so forth. So one more important thing I can do, if you use the colon symbol, that is telling you print everything about square from the start to the end. Now the start, I didn't indicate any numbers, so we will just assume the beginning. And since I didn't indicate after the colon any numbers, so let's do it to the end. So it will just literally print squares. But if I say, for example, print it from the second index, 0, 1, 2, so you'll print 5 all the way to the end of the index. As you can see in here, unlike string, we said it's immutable. If I would have to say assign a new value to this, to be, for example, 84, and print that one, you will see the value is assigned and changed. Last thing, maybe you can use a built-in function to square. We call it the append function, the value of 60, for example. Now, this was all what maybe you can just consider to understand these three important pillars in terms of number, string, and list. This is what we're going to actually rely on all the way along. Now, before we close down on this section, just let's go ahead and writing our first step to code. Say, for example, I would like to write a small function about Fibonacci series. Now, we said about this is going to be a description used. So one more thing I didn't maybe mention, if you use the hash symbol, if you write here anything, it will be considered as a comment. So basically, let me say I'm going to start by assigning two variables. We'll call them the variable A and B, and assign value to them 0 and 1. Once again, if you remember in the first section, we spoke about programming from a technical and logical. We said in the logical aspect, you have to understand what exactly you are trying to do and how you want to do it. Now, if you understand Fibonacci series, the problem itself, and you try to think of a logic, how to get into that. So in this case, for example, if I would have to write A and B is equal 0 and 1, you will get around the values as expected exactly. Next, we're going to be looking at the control flow toolkit.